Coming for John's updates. We're recording this for the folks that can't be here today, but it's my pleasure to have John Marling here. And thank you, John, for hosting us on Zoom to tell us about what is new and cool in Pulse now. I gave everybody a little promo earlier today. 532 categories. That is amazing. That is a huge amount of information. So John, I'll go ahead and hand it off to you. And everybody, please don't be shy about unmuting yourself and asking questions.
Yeah, please. Well, thank you very much, Sylvia. On behalf of the Pulse team, it's once again a pleasure to, be with you. And we appreciate very much the opportunity to be on your team. And as Sylvia said, the purpose of getting together today is to go over what's new in Pulse, particularly your new shopping research that we just completed. And, I want to share a few thoughts and ideas on, how to effectively use it. And then Greg has given me kind of a to-do list, and Sylvia has added to it, but, things to cover. But of course, if you guys got any questions, that's the main purpose of getting together. Anything that's come up, any ways we can assist or help, or any suggestions you have, on your Pulse program, we'd love to hear it. Okay, so let me give you my email right now. It's Marling, M-A-R-L-I-N-G, @paper.net, marling@paper.net. So I'd love to hear from you with any questions or suggestions. Okay, so let's begin. I put together kind of an agenda to cover. And Greg wanted me to go over the Oregon audience shopping research, obviously, why it's important. We work with a lot of media across the country, and we learn every single day, about what businesses want and what they need. And then I want to reiterate, which is probably the most important tip of using the research, that will make darn sure that the business is very, how should we say, in tune with its value and applicability to their business. And then we'll go live. I've logged into, the Oregonian program and cover some specific areas, this afternoon. Okay, so first on the research. The research is very, very simple. All Pulse does is ask of your Oregonian audience. And I want to underscore that includes every single channel you have. All we do is ask the questions the businesses would ask. And as Sylvia just mentioned, there's 532 business categories. So you've got a wide range of retail, automotive, real estate, financial, healthcare, education, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So all we do is ask the question they would ask. A car dealer would ask, are you going to shop at a new car dealership? A realtor would ask, are you going to use a realtor? You're going to sell a home, you're going to buy a home. Okay. A cardiologist might ask, what are your healthcare needs? In a restaurant, what particular restaurant do you want to choose, et cetera, et cetera. So what it is, it's a insight into, and this is important, the Oregonians audience. That includes all of your digital platforms, Oregonian sites, your print, et cetera. It's a blended shopping of your total audience, because the invitation was sent out through all the different channels, inviting your audience to participate. And the great news is that we very quickly got over the gold standard in research, which is 380. We got over 400 sample. It's about an hour survey, by the way. Why? Because they're not only 532 categories, there's thousands of products and services. So if you're asking, you're going to shop at a new car dealership, then you also ask, what type of car do you plan to buy? How much do you plan to spend? What, do you plan to buy a, pickup truck? Do you plan to buy a luxury vehicle? So the survey is very, very intensive, all-inclusive, and it's very, very, how should we say, any business you could think of, you're probably going to find in Pulse the opportunity of the Oregonian audience. So let me pause and ask you, are there any questions on the research? Now would be a good time if you've had any question, or any business has asked you a question as you've gone out, into the field with the research. Okie dokie. Excellent. Okay.
So
So
John,
yes,
I see a question from chat.
yes,
Um,
Dad.
Leslie said, is there a set defined geography that we surveyed?
You know, it was of your total audience. So regardless of where they reside, and obviously the Oregonian and all of your digital offerings have a very broad geographic footprint.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, perfect. Okay, so why does the pulse information matter now? Well, think of it for a moment
One
as a
more
business.
question, John, I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Were we able to capture recipients' geos so we can overlay the geographies?
I'll let me clarify, Sylvie.
Thank you.
It's more so because I know we have certain AEs who have specific geographies that they sell to. Southwest Washington, Bend, Portland. So is there a way that they can go in and define a geography saying, I only want to see the audience that responded in this specific area?
What we can do is, first of all, we can project off of the Oregonian purchasing pattern to a specific geographic area, and we do that in your mobile phone application. And we'll cover that in just a second. You can select a zip code, you can select a city like Beaverton, and project off of the Oregonians' shopping percentage. And by the way, we've done now 38 years, I repeat, 38 years of research. And we work, all across North America, including Canada. And there is not much difference, including, I just had a meeting this morning, with your sister publications in New Jersey going over their research. And Sylvia, you were in New Jersey. You've seen the research there. It's consistent with what you see in the Oregonian. It's roughly the same percentage going to buy furniture, rough percentage is going to, go to a cardiologist, et cetera. So in answer to your question, yes, you can project off of the Oregonians' shopping data to a specific geographic area.
Perfect. Thank you, John.
You're welcome. So let me just pause here, Sylvia. Any other questions that you see?
All clear, thanks.
Okay, very good. So why does Pulse matter now? Putting yourself in the position of a business person and looking into the future, you have 100% clarity of what the next 12 months are going to bring. Any of you? No, of course not. It's a wild, crazy world. And nobody, I repeat, nobody knows, are we going to have a recession, not a recession? If there is a recession, how bad is it going to be? Soft landing, on and on and on. Okay. And so having information that you have, and the survey was just completed in early January. So this is extremely timely. And by the way, it's unique. Nobody else has it. In that the government doesn't have it. The businesses, the trade associations, what they have is historic data, what has been bought. What you have is what will be bought. And that is even more effective with a business because they're much more interested in what's going to happen. Where are the opportunities? Where are the sweet spots to get additional business? And so the information in today's world really positions you as the consultant, as that partner to provide them with information about their business. That gives you huge credibility. And it is so much more effective than being viewed as a salesperson. Being viewed as a person who is knowledgeable and has very unique information about their business in the next 12 months really makes you unique in terms of your opportunity to really partner and assist that business. Okay. And so I just want to score. It's a great opportunity. You've got the information that the businesses want. In all the years that I've gone out and used the information on one-on-one calls, phone calls, et cetera, every time a business has said thank you. They appreciate the information about their business. Okay, my tip on the research. This is the most important thing. Make darn sure that in your conversation, when you are starting the dialogue, the narrative on the research, they understand it's their research. So in other words, when you're talking to a realtor, we just did a real estate survey. What do you mean by that? Well, we asked the questions you would ask. Do you plan to buy a home? Do you plan to sell a home? Okay, do you plan to change or get a new realtor? Now they immediately are interested. You know, when you're talking to a car dealer, you know, we just did a automotive purchasing survey. Why? Well, we asked, you plan to shop at a new car dealership, used car dealership, buy a new car, new truck, etc. You immediately bond with them versus going in and saying the Oregonian did a survey. Because when you say the Oregonian did a survey, all their little defenses go up. You know, they feel you're trying to sell them something. Yes, it is an Oregonian audience survey. But the reality is, when you start the conversation and they realize it's their information, it's a chiropractor survey, it's a real estate survey, it's a restaurant survey, that's the game changer. That's the game changer. And if a business ever, you know, looks at you, you know, kind of with a resistive, you know, look, or they start being offensive, reiterate and make sure they understand all we did was ask the questions they would ask. Then they're going to be extremely motivated to see it. Because there isn't a car dealer on the planet, there isn't a business person on the planet who doesn't want information about and for their business. So that's probably the most important thing to share in terms of how to use the research is underscore, make sure they understand it's their research about and for their business category. Okie dokie. Okay. Now what I'd like to do is cover some of the categories that Greg asked me to. And as we're going through this, just any questions or anything that comes up, because that's why we're getting together is to, you know, to support you guys. So let me click here on the link and we'll go live. Okay. And the first thing that Greg asked me to cover was hot categories with the largest audience opportunities. Okay. The big ones. So my suggestion would be click up on here under prospects. Okay. And then where it says audience buying power, click on that. And what this does is it projects the opportunity of the Oregonian audience for all of the 535 business categories. Okay. And it's projected off of your Oregonian live reach of 239,962. And you have the ability to change it here by just clicking. So you can change to your different audiences in this drop-down list, or you can click on other and put in a specific geo audience and project the opportunity in households and in spending. Okay. So let me click here on Oregonian print and digital. Oh my gosh, everybody's picture is covering up my, there we go. Okay. And so as you can see here, the number one category of opportunity is grocery store. 1.4, let's just call it $1.5 billion. How does Pulse get that information? 92% of the households who surveyed, the Oregonian audience said they're going to shop at a grocery store. I don't know what the other 7.8%, what they're going to do, but 92% shop at a grocery store. Multiplying that times the 300, let's see, it's 319,000 households. That's 294,000 households. Just a projected spending, and we always use minimal, household figures to be conservative. 5,000 is $1.4 million. So when you click on the spending, it gives you an array based on total spending. So you've got farm equipment dealer, 2.7%, small percentage, but $100,000 per household. Then you got commercial builder, new vehicle dealership. Look at this, about 700 million in new vehicle dealer. A senior centers, almost $600 million in opportunity. General contractor, 400 million. New home builder, used car dealership, 341 million. The other way to look at this is, well, how many households? Which categories have the largest number of households that will be purchasing that the Oregonian reaches? So you just click here on households, and it'll array the business categories by household shopping. And so you can pick the categories that have the largest opportunity, like department store. 171,000 households are going to shop at a department store. Veterinarian is a group, 158,000 households. Okay. Bookstores, women's clothing stores, etc. So this is an incredible resource in terms of targeting to focus on those business categories that represent either the largest spending or the largest number of households. So let me pause and get any questions or feedback on using, the Pulse spending projection resource. How's that look to you guys?
So Leslie, would you like to come unmuted and ask your questions?
Sure. John, I was curious to understand with that spending column and how that was estimated. And in particular, is that an annual amount?
It's an annual amount. It's projected annually, and we try and be as conservative as possible. Where do we get the numbers? We get it from business people. We do Google searches. We get it from ad reps who, give us updates on, when they're out in the field presenting. It's meant to be an estimate.
Yeah. Okay. And then with the ones that are carrying the 0, is that just mean that the estimate isn't available for that particular category or business type?
Yes.
Okay.
Or it's not applicable. Like
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
Okay. Excellent question. Thank you, Leslie. Okay. So remember, and how did I reach it? I just clicked on prospects, and then I clicked on audience buying power. Okay. Okay, next thing, to cover is, Greg asked me to cover the audience opportunity for an existing advertiser. My suggestion on that is click on prospects, click under top prospects, and this will give you all of your business categories, in this case, organized by most sold. The most sold being is in our reporting program, these are the business categories that have the highest incidence of sold, presentations sold. I would suggest you click on category here, and then it'll array all of the business categories by applicable groups like apparel groups, automotive groups, etc. Okay. And so let's say you want to get the audience opportunity for an existing advertiser, and they're a used vehicle dealership. Then I would just click right here, or I would just take 33%. This is the easiest way to do it. So for used vehicle dealership, I'd use the 33.2%, $22,780. Okay. And obviously this is mirroring what we have laid out for you in that spending. But then I would take it a step further, and you can just click on find. Up comes a list of businesses. You can either click on the business and then do a presentation for them, the flyer presentation, for instance. And then that would give you the opportunity in households for, in this case, Grand Prix Motors. Okay. And that gives you a nice little piece that you can either take out or save as a PDF and send to them. And so kind of a quick summary on how do I get the information to reinforce the value of the Oregonian audience to a specific business. I would suggest you go into the prospecting go into the business category and just create a flyer or create a flyer for that account, either through the map or you can do it through accounts. You can set up an account. Let me click here. You can click under accounts and do a search to see if that account is in there. If not, just click under new account, set up an account so that when you create the flyer, it'll be branded with that business. But I think that's a great suggestion because so many times, and I was an ad rep once, you don't want to hear, well, I think I'm going to try something new. You should always be reinforcing the value of the opportunity with your existing advertisers. And once again, this is fresh, current information. And it's so extremely powerful and reinforcing with the businesses. Any comments or questions on using the information with an existing advertiser, to make sure that they understand the benefit, the opportunity, of a consistent program with you? Okay. So let's click here on dashboard. Now I'm going to go to the mobile app. So when you're on your phone, and by the way, we'll cover in just a second when we go into training, if you haven't put a link or an icon on your mobile phone, do it right away because it's a phenomenal tool and resource in engaging with the business and getting their participation. And I went out on a few four-legged sales calls a bit ago, with some of the Oregonian team members. And what is so effective is getting the participation of the business. So let me just show you what I mean by that. So let's say we're out in the field. And by the way, Raleigh Hills used to be my sales territory. And so I was out testing the program and I just cold call walked into an insurance business. So as I was in my car, parked outside a State Farm Insurance, I just typed into my phone, just pretend for a moment, this is what it looks like on the phone. I just typed in insurance. You just type in the business category. Up will come the appropriate category and pulse. You just click on that. Okay. Then put in the zip code. And I think Raleigh Hills is 9722. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't remember it. No, that isn't right because it's about 20,000. 97219. Yeah, that looks more applicable. I would type in the zip code, or you can type in a geographic community like Beaverton, okay? And up will come Beaverton. Well, that wasn't as expected. There we go. Beaverton, Oregon. Let's go back to the zip code because I found that very effective with the businesses. If you type in the zip code, then you click on it. Now I'm ready to go in the business. And what I would suggest the words to say the conversation is, I know you're really, really busy, but I've got some information I think you're going to be really interested in. What do you mean by that? Well, we just did an insurance needs survey. Well, what do you mean? Well, we asked, do you plan to change or get a new insurance agency? Once again, it's all about relating to their business. Okay. Thought you might like to know, the opportunity for changing or getting a new insurance agent. We asked the questions you would ask. And then I say to them, would you like to know how many households right here in 97219 are going to change or get a new insurance agency? And what do you think they would say? You guys are probably muted. They every single time they say yes. I always remember we walked into, I can't remember the guy's name, one of the Oregonian reps, when we went into, it was out in the Tigard area. And we went to one of the office buildings there by Greensburg Road. And we went up to the 9th floor and we just randomly cold call, knocked on business is in that office complex. And we went into a legal firm. And there was the gatekeeper sitting at this big mahogany desk, right? And you could tell by the glare on her face, she did not want us there. And I said, I know you're busy. Excuse me for just a second. I said, I imagine one of the principals here would like to know how many households right around you are going to change or get a new legal firm. And it immediately got our attention. He said, yeah, they'd probably want to know that. And when they say, yes, I'd like to know that. And here's the secret. Give them your phone. They're not going to take it from you. I mean, steal it. Give them their phone and say, find out for yourself. Find out for yourself how many households. And they click on get results, and it's emotional. They go, wow, there's 1,946 households right here, right around me, going to change or get a new insurance agency. Or if you're with a realtor, change or get a new realtor. It's extremely powerful because the business participates. And what I found out in the field is almost universally they ask, how do I reach them? How do I reach them? Isn't that a beautiful thing? Because that gives you the opportunity to present to them, a digital print campaign with targeting, demographically, geographically, behaviorally, et cetera, within that specific area. It's a great entree into, a digital agency presentation. And then a lot of times they ask, well, what else did you ask? And then you just click right here on your phone, and they say, look, we found out that, there's over 2,500 right here in this area going to change into insurance agency, auto insurance. And the business I did in cold call in Raleigh Hills, when she saw there was 4.5% going to change into business insurance, she says, my gosh, I never thought of targeting business insurance. And she said, thank you. That's a great idea. Because in the challenger business, the challenger sales model, it's helped the business find an opportunity they didn't even know was there. So this is a phenomenal resource for helping the business with an insight, a marketing opportunity they never knew was there. Okay. And then right on your phone, and this is a very effective tool because of their participation. Let's assume we're presenting a $50,000 campaign. That's the figure that Greg asked me to use, 50,000, okay? And you get from them, what's a customer worth to you? And Leslie asked the question a bit ago. Pulse gives an estimate, but for every business, it varies. And we try and be very conservative because we want them to say, well, it's actually higher, okay? And so then I would ask this business, what's a customer worth to you? And let's say we're at the legal firm. And the legal firm says, well, our average customer, if we got a new customer, they'd be worth about, $7,000 to us, okay? So you have them type in 7,000, and look at that. They only need 8 customers. 8 customers. But let's put that in perspective. That's 8 out of 1,946 right in that zip code. Right in that zip code. And then in closing, I would say, do you think that with this level of consistency, repetition, reach, et cetera, with all these different channels that we're using, you're going to get at least 8 who plan to change or get a new insurance agency right in this zip code? And the probability is very high they're going to say yes, and you just made a sale. And so in summary, the Pulse mobile program, by the way, can be used in a Zoom meeting just like we're doing, or it can be used out in the field. Because all you have to do on a Zoom meeting is just spread it out like this, and you get their participation in real time. So it's a resource that you have at your fingertips and, in your Pulse program that takes the presentation to a whole new level because it's interactive with the business and very emotional for the business. So let me pause here again and appreciate any feedback, questions. kind of what you think about the mobile program with your brand new, fresh Oregonian research.
Can I ask a question? Is there a category for shopping malls?
Yes, there is.
Okay, we couldn't find it. My manager couldn't find it. He was looking the other day, and where would we find that? Maybe
It's
we're
under
looking in the wrong category.
It's under shopping center.
Oh, that's it.
So let me go back here to home.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I just come here to prospects. And I'm going to do the top prospects, which is everything. And then up at the top, we'll just type in shopping center.
I see. Okay.
There's shopping center. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
A lot of times it's better to use less words than more words.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Okay. Any other questions, or I'm particularly interested in what you think about the mobile program?
I love how clean it is. It's just
Yeah,
so
looks
easy to
good.
get a screenshot.
Yeah, it's very, very simple. And simplicity works in today's world. Sometimes you can give the person too much information.
True.
Okay. Then the other thing that Greg asked me to cover was the training. So on the top of the dashboard, the home page of Pulse, up at the top is training. You just click on that, and it's got a nice overview of each one of the elements of Pulse. And so it's got a video for each one, and then some real world training assignments for each one. So getting the appointment, so video on the appointment, and then practice making a phone call, follow up with some emails, etc. So it's and you don't have to do it, in one setting or 1 week, etc. Just take your time and go through it. It really provides a good solid basis of hands-on to become familiar and comfortable with each one of, the components of your Pulse program. And then under help, under FAQ is how to put the Pulse link on your phone. So I click under help, FAQ, how do I put Pulse on my mobile device? So with an iPhone, here are the simple steps, or with an Android phone, here are the steps. Okay. So can you think of anything that I haven't covered that you've had a question on, or a business has asked you a question on, in terms of the research or the Pulse presentation, etc.?
Hey, John.
Oh,
Hey,
go
John,
ahead, Leslie.
I noticed on some of the flyers that you can create that if it's already in there, sometimes the research won't update to the most recent survey that went out. Can you show us real quick on how to change that to the most recent one?
It should. I'd have to know one that had been created earlier, but it should prompt you and say, do you want to update to the current research?
Okay.
That, so we build into the program that there's an existing flyer presentation, 1-page presentation. The program knows that, and a little pop-up will overlay and say, do you want to update? And just click on yes, and it automatically updates it to the new research.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Good question. Great question.
John?
Yeah.
Let's say that you want to make sure that you're reaching out to enough prospects in a specific area like Salem.
Mm-hmm.
What's a good way to see what the research says about buying intent in the Salem area?
Okay. So what I would suggest is go back to the mobile is the best way to do it. And give me a business category.
Let's go with outdoor equipment, like agricultural equipment.
So let's just do farm. I think it would be under farm equipment.
Okay.
Up there I saw ag. Okay.
Ag, nothing.
There we go.
All right.
Okay, so I would click on that, whatever, one would be applicable.
Okay.
Then I would type in Salem. Boy, there are a lot of Salems, aren't there?
That's pretty amazing.
Okay, here's Salem, Oregon. Click on Salem, Oregon. Then click on Get Results. And there you go.
Oh, cool. That was really easy.
Or you could do a specific zip code, or you could do a county. So those are the three levels of geography that, well, actually they're states. You could use zip, city, county, or state. And then, of course, you could also go into specific buying. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. And if they ask, where does the research come from? This is from the Oregonian research. 15.4% said, yes, they plan to shop at an ag farm supply store. That is blended across all of your audiences, all of your Oregonian footprint. Okay.
Nice.
So it's highly, highly projectable to wherever you distribute or reach, with your both print and digital channels. Good question.
So I have another question.
Yeah.
Just a little bit ago, Bradley was asking me what category is best to look for when trying to see how many people are intending to find another job. And I happened to find the employment category, which I told him about and got some good numbers there. Is that what you would recommend, or do you have any nuances that you would add on to that?
Okay, let's go into, let me think what would be the fastest way to do this. Look at our prospects. Now, bear with me just a second. I'm going to go into create a flyer, and I'm going to choose the business, and I'm going to put in test employer. Okay.
Okay.
And then I need to do a business category. So here's where the update data comes in. No, so there's already so I'm going to type in the business because we've already associated that with employer. So let's just say Glenwood employer, because I know that would not be in there. Well, darn, it should create. So I'm going to do here Big Duck. That should be in. There we go. Create new account. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. So I'm going to put in the category Big Duck. I'm going to go create. You connect flyer. Well, I'm embarrassed here because it's supposed to ask me what the business category is.
Yeah, it does with everything else.
Yeah. Well, I got what I wanted, but it didn't follow the flow I wanted to. And I'm trying to
So
figure out
it's-
why.
You do have subcategories down below.
Yeah.
which is
It's so
nice.
it's seeking employment, which is the applicable category. I don't know how Big Duck got assigned that, but it did. So even though I'm embarrassed here, what you need to do is when you type in a new business and it asks, what is the business category? You put in seeking employment. That is the trigger to the data to then give you all of the information on jobs. Okay, so employment fields, because this is
Wow.
the sweet stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh, that has way more detail than I thought.
Yeah, exactly. And this is, let me repeat, this is Oregonian audience as of right now.
Wow.
So you've got all these different employment fields, plus you've got employment plans.
Uh-huh.
It's phenomenally effective.
Fantastic.
Yeah, then you can obviously, select whatever you want
Mm-hmm.
and update. And it goes into your presentation here.
Beautiful.
So a quick summary, even though I kind of screwed it up, is when you put in a business, you select seeking employment as the business category, create a flyer. It'll
Mhm.
come up. It'll give you the default business categories. Just click on the editing pen and put whatever's applicable.
And then you get the nice detailed flyer from that.
Yep, exactly.
Mm.
Love your questions.
I'm just passing along the ones I commonly hear.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions?
Okay, well, let me give you my email again. It's Marling, MARLING at paper.net. Anytime, anywhere, send me an email. And more than happy to assist and, provide whatever ideas or solutions we can.
Thank you, John. It's a lot today. There's a lot going on, but thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Great presentation. Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
really
that.
appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your week.
Okay, take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye.